welcome back, viewers, to the PI show. Before the break, we were talking about dog bite cases and dogs in general. Harry?
Yeah, no, we've got a case that ran in New South Wales, ran before a single judge. The woman was suing the Blacktown City Soccer Club. And in the first instance, the judge found that the club itself was negligent because they had a Rottweiler that was tied to a railing sitting close to the steps going in and out of the club. Now, the judge said, as a matter of common sense, you shouldn't put a Rottweiler where the public is coming in and out of a club. There is a risk, and the club should have not allowed that to happen at all.
Well, Harry, if you see a dog of a Rottweiler outside a club and you think, oh, okay, maybe it's not vicious. So what this lady did, Mrs. Hodge has gone up there and patted the dog. And she attacked. And the dog attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dog attack, in the first instance, the judge awarded her just around about $35,000, which indicates to me that it's not a significant claim, but for whatever reason, the insurer for the soccer club appealed to 3 judges in the Supreme Court of New South Wales. That appeal was upheld and the decision was quashed. The leading judgment was by Justice Ip, who has written a report about an insurance crisis in Australia. And his view was, and this is the thrust of the report, was that people should take care of themselves and they shouldn't put themselves in danger and in risk. Now, he applied that in this case where he said, I agree with you, Tony, that the real problem was that the woman went up and patted the dog and she created the danger.
Well, if the dog's there and, you know, Rottweilers, people are scared of them. Now, if you see it there outside the door with a leash, you'd assume, I would, that the dog's not going to bite you because they wouldn't have it there in the first place if it was vicious. So I'd probably pet the dog too.
Oh, you're very kind, Tony. You're sort of kind nature. But
no, I just think that you don't leave a dog.
I wouldn't pat a Rottweiler myself.
It shouldn't be there in the first place, basically.
Well, that's what the judge in the first instance found.
It's a lousy decision.
And, you know, this is what the New South Wales, the Court of Appeal, 3 judges, and I think one of the judges highlighted that the Rottweiler was no different to any other breed of dog.
I don't believe that.
Which, again, defies a bit of common sense.
I think so.
You'd think that there's...
Look, there's got to be breeds like Rottweilers, Pit Bulls, and also even German Shepherds that have got a propensity to attack.
Yeah, well, as a matter of common sense, that's your common sense, but that doesn't sort of go to the judges in New South Wales.
It's an outrageous decision, really.
So that decision, she failed and she lost the case. However, in the ACT in 2007, I think, there was a Commonwealth public servant.
Yep.
And she walked by a dog and, again, interestingly enough, patted the dog, and she succeeded at trial because the defendant caved in the middle of the trial.
You know what happened here was there was training stables and the plaintiff walked past, saw the dog in the neighbouring property, looked passive enough, went to pat it, bang.
And she was injured in, I think, in the forearm and the eye. So she would have been protecting her face.
Well, she had a damage to the right eyelid. She also had problems with the tear duct and laceration and reasonably severe scarring to the arm. So, and psychological injuries, to say the least.
So the court awarded her $45,000 for pain and suffering. I think she was 60 years old.
She's about 60, I think.
And the court awarded $45,000 for pain and suffering.
And the balance was another 15, which probably would have been medical expenses.
Medical expenses.
Yeah, past and future. And
yeah.
That sounds a bit light, but anyway, because especially tear ducts and eye injuries and...
It sounds a bit light.
It sounds light, yeah.
Again, the court went through, they heard all the evidence, and so that was a case where, again...
A bit more common sense too,
patting a dog led to compensation in that case.
Can I say, one of the things that really concerns me is this. When the Dog Act and the amendments to the legislation came in, the original legislation was in 1994, I think. It was to keep dogs off the streets. But the real problem at the moment doesn't seem to be dogs on the streets. I think it's dogs within households where you go and visit and the homeowners just don't look at the situation and say, hey, hold it. Maybe I should put the dog somewhere or tie it up.
Lock it in a garage or
tie it up because these animals are very territorial.
Yeah, put it in a specially designated holding bay, if you like.
That's precisely right.
But
so they take a lot, and that's how most accidents are happening, or injuries.
Without some foresight, if you like.
So there's a bit of a lesson there, I think.
In that situation, household insurance should cover.
It will.
Any damage that's been done.
That's precisely right.
If you're sued. And look, the third case again is, I think, a Queensland case, but it's an interesting case where it's a removalist who's been directed to remove some rubbish from a backyard and is attacked by the dog. And he sued the owner
and the employer. Actually, this is an interesting case because I think the removalist did ask the owner, is the dog safe?
And the owner said yes.
Yeah, he's
unlikely. So I think in that case, he did succeed against both parties.
He got 50-50 against the owner and the employer.
And 50% against the employer. So I think, the result, again, the court had to look at all the facts about where the dog was. I think the dog was tied up
interestingly,
in the backyard.
The evidence was that he patted the dog.
Again,
but it wasn't when he patted the dog that he got bitten.
Yeah, it was afterwards.
Yeah, afterwards. He was picking up some furniture or something,
from the backyard.
And the leash was long enough for the dog to be able to attack.
Yeah, but he tried to pacify the dog in that case.
How much did he get in this case?
I think you said $135,000.
Pretty significant compared to the other case.
So again, and that would have been the two insurers would have combined. But
I know, but pain and suffering was only 30,000, Harry. So the majority of that damage
was loss of income.
Loss of income and probably medical expenses.
Yeah. Well, look, we're coming to the end of the segment. We've got Viv's last mailbag to go, but recently the British government is now an alliance between the Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats, and one commentator said it's a mongrel government.
Yeah,
the mongrel is
like the show we've done tonight.
The mongrel government is a cross between a bulldog and a Shihatsu, a Chihuahua. Chihuahua. So that's the British government. It's a mongrel government. Look, that's all we've got time for in this segment. We'll be back with Viv's mailbag after the break.